when I share my project with people in the community, all the time, people are like, "Oh yeah, I would totally give care packages away in my car. Oh yeah, I totally would want to support you in doing that. If you ever need any resources, just let me know." And so what tends to happen is if we're doing this dynamism of growth, of serving the poor and coming home to our families and just being a little bit better every week. So it's a weekly project where there's constant growth, reflection. After, it doesn't instantly make me a better person or a saint, but I'm definitely better in those days or next day right after. But after a year, 2 years, 3 years, and, again, encountering those same people dozens of times, there really is a journey. It's like a life process of a life mission, or
Mm-hmm.
it's deeper than anything else in life, with the exception for me of my family, right? So raising my kids is the most important work. But and then when we were doing the retirement home visits that we're trying to launch again soon, if we can get funding for it, with young adult groups and with the college going back down and relaunching it this fall, um, is you know that visiting the lonely aspect. Like the retirement homes tend to have people there who are there because they're not living with their family, or they need extra assistance, but tend to not see their family as much as they did obviously when they were raising their kids. They're now in the
Mm-hmm.
retirement home, and some of them are living far away from their immediate family. And so we come in and we say, hey, look, we're far away from our grandparents too, in some cases, being that we were at university. Can we kind of adopt you, and can you adopt us? You have so much wisdom to share, and we want to be the ones who are fortunate and blessed
Mm-hmm.
enough to receive that from you. And that's what we
Yeah.
would share with them. And first, so I know we're talking about homeless ministry. We don't want to get off topic, but the point is that growing over time, it does take time, but after some years, you kind of naturally share. And who knows if it happens at the beginning of that journey, or in the middle, or after some time, you get people who want to do something more. And so I think that's where, facilities are built, and long-term impacts can be made, not just in the individuals you've served, but you could actually build something concrete that receives funding
Mm-hmm.
from the local government. And there's just that small can lead to something big if it's consistent. You just never know. And there are people who might see you, and they might have a lot of money, and they might be able to use this money that they built through their business dealings. Can't believe I said that. Through whatever they've done to be successful in their life. And they might think, wow, I'm only going to be on this earth for so long. Look at this millions, tens of millions that I've accrued.
Yeah.
And they might want to do something worthwhile and meaningful with that money. And so it's just a beautiful way to lead by example, to be a witness, to be a light. Matthew 5:16, which is our impact resources verse, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. Wow, think about a new way of sharing the gospel and glorifying God. It's through our actions, right? Through our commitment, through sacrificing so that we can serve. And so our money, our time, our treasure to the poor, that is at least in some way authentic or bona fide, right? Bona fide. I remember the
Bonafide.
NBA Street video game I used to play as a kid, where there was a character called, I think it's bona fide is actually the name of the. Yes, it is.
Oh.
You have to beat him as like a small boss. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So it becomes authentic in its witness to the community. We get seen by thousands of people driving their cars, at least hundreds every week, because Bakersfield, the streets that we go to, just happen to be full always of traffic. So you get
Mm-hmm.
honks and thumbs up. People when they start off on the first step of a journey, you never know
Mm-hmm.
this risky business when you step out your door, Frodo. You know, no knowing where you'll be swept off to or whatever. So
Something like that.
what are your
Oh, that's good.
reactions to that? Like, what does that do for your perception of this project? Does that kind of light any new light bulbs?
Yeah, I mean, the verse from Matthew that's on Impact's logo, it's like, it's not a phrase that I see, a verse that I see often associated with apostolates,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yep.
I think there's a part of us that rightly is concerned about our outward acts of piety. You
Yes.
said this on our last podcast, that You
I'm
can't be
very
bigger on the
concerned about it.
outside.
Yeah, that's something we could talk about.
Yes. You said this on the last podcast that you can't be bigger on the outside than you are on the inside. It's like the outward you have to be a reservoir, not a river. You have to give out of you have to your what you give out is going to be an excess of what you have, what the spirit that you have in you already.
Yeah.
And so you do have to, become interiorly holy before you can do the outward appearances of holiness and have those things count for anything. But I think
Right.
a lot of us are afraid of any external representation of holiness. I got an angry comment on an Instagram post about this today. I was doing an Instagram reel about prayer for my youth ministry Instagram, and someone said, "How dare you? God said to pray in your room."
Yes.
And I was like, "I'm just doing a reel about prayer." This is the gut reaction. Like, you can't even talk about prayer. This random internet commenter said to me, "You can't even talk about prayer. You're supposed to do it alone and not let anyone see you." But Christ at the same time also said, "Let your light shine before men," because of exactly what you were saying, where who knows, those people who were giving pizza probably saw you guys do it and they were like, "We're going to do it too." And that your external acts of piety can actually light a flame for someone else's interior act of piety. It's a candle lighting another candle, like at the Easter Vigil.
Yes.
So that's for me. That's kind of my takeaway. Is like, don't be afraid to do those external things. You have that look on your face. What does that
Can
look
I
on your face?
respond to this?
Of course you can.
Okay,
It's
so
your show.
what tends to happen when we try to do something meaningful and serve, one, we're entering into a higher arena than we usually are living in, and so we're
Yeah.
kind of in that uncertainty of trying something bigger than ourselves, and that's helpful for having humility because we have no idea where this will go. It's my first time, right? I've never been here before.
Mhm.
So if I'm serving the homeless, there can be some people who go and say, "Hey, look at me, what I'm doing. I'm serving the homeless." Or, "Look, I gave $100, and put it on my social media," whatever. Actually, every time I leave Costco, I at least get 5 people going, "Where am I coming? Where's the party?" Because I'm leaving with like
Yeah,
12 boxes
right.
of pizza in a cart. It's like every single time. And only 1 or 2 times I've said, "Actually, I'm going to bring these to the homeless." And it was because I had like the eye contact and a way to share it authentically. But usually I was just like, I'm just having a party. I don't actually say I'm having a party, but I just kind of be like, ho hum. Okay, so there's that natural humility for many people because they don't want to be recognized. So it actually takes more humility to share what they are doing as an invitation to others to come and see or to come with on their project, to actually open the door and say, "This isn't just my project. I'll let somebody else come with me, come what may," whatever their personality brings to the car ride or, friendship. Actually, the group of guys that I'm doing this pizza delivery with now are as close of friends in my life as anybody I've spent years in friendship with because of, the conversations that we have while serving and the fun and laughing and making sure we see every person that we can. You get the left, I get the right. We keep our. Now, Bakersfield has a lot of people on the street, and most cities that I've seen, which is not very many, but it's about a 9-to-1 men to women on the street.
Yeah.
Just throwing out a guess. Here it's probably 3-2. There are a lot more women here on the street. It's very heartbreaking, and it's very sad. It's very sad to have anybody, men or women, on the street. But with women, there's safety and risks and different things hygiene. So anyway, there are a lot of times where the young adult group put together like women's hygiene, and whenever we do the care packages, we take a high school or a college group, pack them all together. We have some of them that have women's hygiene, and you just kind of like distinguish which ones those are. Mm-hmm. Okay, so so sharing. There is that aspect of living in a higher arena and that uncertainty, and so you want to really get feedback and just share this little thing that you're doing. You realize it's little and that it only grows over consistency, so you have that long-term mindset, and that doesn't allow you to, if you're careful, to take too much credit. And you have to always remember to explicitly say, "God willing, please the Lord, God allowed this, thank God for this, I love this project, the opportunity to do it because God's blessed me with enough that, he's given me so much." And so remembering kind of like the reality of it is helpful. You don't want to get carried away. It's kind of like you were saying in the beginning about marriage and service. Like, we think we're heroically changing the world through our little act, but you don't want to underestimate that you can heroically change the world over that longer period of time. Impact could be a video or podcast that reaches people, and then it grows so that people around the world know about different service projects, how to do them, how to start, and the mindset and the growth journey that can be the experience over time. Okay, so God also tends to reveal to us, this is the last point, our weaknesses and our sins and the devil, yes, we believe that there is a temptation, a source of temptation, that when we try to do good, evil will be at hand, that there is a path of least resistance, that there is, when we're doing good, maybe we tend to kind of slip into other addictive behaviors like being on our phone or be looking in the refrigerator and just eating all day, which anyway, when we seek to do good, it always seems to be that we find a little temptations that sap our strength, you know?
Yeah.
When we're trying to do something good, there's a reason to put roadblocks now in our way. And if we're not trying to do anything good, why would there be any temptation? We're just saying yes to everything. But
Yeah.
the point is that God, in those times of trying to be good, tends to reveal those things, not only that we're adding the service, the prayer, but things that when we remove them, allow us to be that internal apostle, that disciple that's growing on the inside as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is that element of, Jesus said, let not your left hand know what your right hand is doing.
Yeah. I think a good distinction is it's let your light shine, not make your light shine.
Yeah, that's good.
You know,
let your light
it's just
shine.
kind of it's a passive like allowance. You know, God's not calling us to be. He said don't let. He's like don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. But it's not. You're not supposed to be the gatekeeper of your own holiness. You know, that's not humble. You're not letting your light shine before men. You're like, it's actually an act of pride. It's you're thinking of yourself more. You're like, I need to make sure I appear unholy.
The Batman
no.
sign.
Yeah, right. Just let your light shine.